Okay, hello and welcome to Kingdom of Football, the #1 football fan channel in Cambodia. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, going to review uh, Visakha versus PKR Svay Rieng. Uh, Hopefully the microphone's working. Just let me know in the comments if there's nothing wrong with the sound, anything like that. So yeah, it's the end of the first round in the CPL fixtures. Everybody's played each other once. Svay Rieng is still sitting top of the league. So this match was a chance, really, if Visakha are going to be title challengers, to really put the mark. And obviously came out with a defeat. So going to take a look at this game, try and break it down for you, explain a few things that we saw that went on in the match, and give you some analysis from Kingdom of Football. Okay, I'll just get the slides up for you. All right. Just a reminder, if you're watching, guys, we don't have access to the videos. So in this one, I've got quite a lot of slides, but we are trying to be really objective and give you a good idea of what's going on in the match. So first of all, just looking at Visakha's lineup, it's down as a 4-3-3. What kind of tended to happen was Cheng Paul Ro, Insa David, they were kind of a lot playing in kind of a straight line as a 2, and that left kind of Kiem Heng to push on a little bit more. But usually when you're playing in a 3, it should either be one sitting player and 2 players further up, or 2 sitting players. So they did get the part right of 2 sitting players, but whether they would have been better with a 2 and a 1, I think maybe with Kiem Heng playing in front, and then Kiosapeng and Reena playing out wide. When we do look at this, one of the first things that strikes me about the lineup, and even before the match, is where the goals are going to come from Visakha. Obviously, I have a lot of injuries. Players did come back in this match and returned, but still looking at it, to really be a title contender in the league, you need to be having a goal scorer that, and I mentioned this before, that is scoring 20 plus goals. Now, Lee Jae-gun up top, he's had a brilliant season so far, but is he going to be that player that's going to really push and get you 20, 25 goals, which is what you're going to need to be title challengers? So that's the lineup for Visakha. Just some other observations there. Obviously, looking at this one, Meng and Samun are on the opposite sides. When you are playing a 4-3-3, and one thing when we move in to look at the match is you really need your fullbacks to be really involved in the game. And I think in this game, Meng wasn't on the ball as much as he has been in previous games. And I think that was another factor that let Visakha down a little bit. Okay, just take a look at the Svay Rieng lineup. Obviously, a key player missing, Mizuno, obviously he's played in the centre midfield. But kind of a pretty similar lineup to what they've had the previous games. O'Connell, that was the first time I'd watched him play. Actually, quite interesting to see a foreign playing at left back as well, but he had a really solid game. So what we're going to do is, when we look at it, I previously looked at Svay Rieng and looked at them as a winning team, so I will try and break down Visakha a little bit more and kind of how they lost this match. All right, so just looking at this one, 4 minutes, 24 seconds into the game. This was kind of, and it's obviously very early on in the game, and I think it set a real tone for what was happening. The Svay Rieng in the midfield, really compact, which is what we've seen. And if you look at number 8 now, which is Lee Jae-gun, he is the forward player for Visakha. And one thing that I'm going to highlight to you is that he is not playing up high up the field. That could be from a couple of things. One, he's not an out-and-out striker. His coach might have told him that he wanted to play a more dynamic style, kind of like a false 9. But what we see in this is Visakha players getting dispossessed high up the field that they're attacking, and it's kind of really easy to break down. And sorry, just go back a little bit. Yeah, so there. So the next one we're looking at, again, is Jargon. This time here is receiving the ball. But what we see is there are no players beyond him, which is a really key point. If you are the highest player and you are the striker, it's important that you have players coming past you. And what we tended to see was Jargon dropping into deeper spaces, which is good. He obviously wants to get on the ball and play. But then Visakha didn't have the runners going past him in higher areas. So if you see this, we've got 3 players all getting forward, but they're not getting past him early enough when he's received the ball. So even if he does turn early, there's kind of nobody in front of him to play the ball to. And this one again, so now we've got Jargon on the ball again. And really what I'm trying to highlight, this is the Visakha started with as their striker. And he is dropping really deep to receive the ball. And what it means is that when he does get turned and he's facing forward, there are no options in front of him to see. Obviously, Peng is in the picture there, but it's only one player. And really, there should be another player on in that really highest role to receive the ball. Now, if you did watch a game, this is a really good example. Visakha have done some nice work, get the ball out wide, and you can actually see from Jargon's body shape here that if he is playing as a striker, the striker's attitude should always be to get in the box, score goals, and have that predatory instinct that they are the man that are going to score the goals. And what actually happens in this little bit of play is they play a few 1-2s, but Jargon's movement after the 1-2 is not into the box, it's back out wide, and it gets very condensed in that corner there. And they do actually end up getting a cross in, but then again, there's nobody in the box to get on the end of that cross. And again, what we see, what I really want to highlight in this one, the actual shape here is quite good for Visakha. You know, they've got plays around the ball, option to pass forward, option to pass back, option to pass to their side. What they don't have is, if you look at the 2 Svay Rieng centre-backs, don't have anybody occupying that space in between the centre-backs. And really think for Svay Rieng, Odawara and Visakha at the centre-backs, they had a really, and we're looking at the first half here, they had a really easy first half where if you're a centre-back, you should be challenged mentally. So when I say that you should be challenged mentally, is that you should be having to concentrate on what's happening around you, whether that's runners running forward, players dropping in. And what they had with Jargon, he is dropping in. He didn't become a threat to them because he is so deep when he's playing. So that position in between the centre-backs is really where you need your highest player to be occupying. And you can see there you've got your line of 3, but anybody that wants to play forward, try a through pass, or to get across into the box, there is no threat, which is why it really became a really easy game for Odawara and Visakha at centre-backs. Now, don't get me wrong, I've highlighted Lee Jargon's movement. He is actually having a really good game. But the fact that he's having a good game, it's just that there is nothing at that highest line of attack. So he is finding pockets of space. But let's say if he does turn and get forward, who is going to be the guy in this Visakha team that is going to go on and score the goals? And again, this is just cross into the box from Visakha, and it's a really easy-headed clearance there for the Svay Rieng players. Now, this another good example is, this is quite a counter-attack. I think this is either Kim Han, can't see because it's pretty blurry. He's picked up the ball on the left, and there is really no options for him. So the 3 players on the far side for Visakha, as it's broke out, and they have to be moving with speed. And we really didn't see this in a lot of the attacks they had in the first half. And again, this is just to really emphasize that. Another one, it's broke to Rena on the left, but he's so isolated. Because Jagun's gone looking for the ball deeper, the attackers broke out quick. They haven't really in the Visakha team, any real speed of players going beyond in those movements, which is why players, if you're a striker and you do play really high and you occupy that position between the 2 centre-backs, it's not just about being a threat, it's about having the nous or the knowledge to hold up the ball. And then when the ball is played to you, you can get passes off and movement and stuff like that. So, I did really feel sorry for actually Rena and Peng, because when they actually did get the ball, there is no focal point in the attack to receive the ball and then play off little 1-2s. So it's almost like this is kind of a Man City setup where you're not playing with a forward player, but then what you do need is you need speed and you need to be really dynamic in your play. So, sorry, just got a call. Yeah, so you really need to be quick and dynamic in your play. All right, next one. And this is now just to move on to highlight one of the Svay Rieng players. Obviously, Ratanak, what a brilliant game he's had. And this is as well to highlight what happened with Visakha. We've got Paul Rott and David. They become flat as a 2. And playing flat as a 2 is good when you're defending sometimes, if you get your shape right. Now, there's 2 parts of this, is that Ratanak, he shows a real composure, great skill on the ball to then find passes. And what happens too is once that pass goes between David and Paul Rott, then straight away the attack is on for Svay Rieng. And this was kind of something that really happened throughout the first half and going into the second half. What I mentioned at the start is that if David and Paul Rott are in a straight line between them, it's really easy to just thread a pass through, and then the attack can start for Svay Rieng. It wasn't like that all the time. They have a bit dynamic, but I really think that playing at home, I'm not sure whether you really need 2 holding midfield players. Okay, so just to review, that was kind of the first half, and what I really wanted to pick out was that I feel that playing at home for Visakha, I really think they should be really just trying to go into a game like this with a little more confidence. I don't know what the injuries are, but they really should have been playing with a striker looking to get high up the midfield. And don't get me wrong, they did have chances, but I believe with that focal player higher up top, and I think Lee Jae-gun, he is not an out-and-out striker. He's going to score goals, but he's not going to be up there in your 25 goals. And I think they really should be looking to have a play like that, a focal point, and then you have your players like Jae-gun, Peng around him and creating the movements. All right, so 3 minutes into the second half, we get a Svay Rieng free kick in the bottom corner there. Now, this is a really, really smart bit of play from Svay Rieng, and it's the kind of stuff that we'd love to see. Just get a quick drink and then I'll break it down a little more for you. Now, Svay Rieng have a really good setup on set pieces. For those that don't follow football and not quite familiar, it's really common you'll see two players stood around the ball. So the reason you do that is you have one left footer and one right footer. So then the defending team, they can't be sure who's going to take it or what type of cross the ball is going to be. Now, I've put this photo in here because it's really good, because what happens is these three players, they have a little discussion. Now, this is when you need some real experienced players, your captains, your leaders, your talkers. You need a player right now that is focused from Visakha and is watching these three players. And for me, this is where the goal for Svay Rieng starts, because nobody from Visakha picked up on what these three guys were talking about. And if you do go back and watch the video, you will see them all talk, and they decide that Ratanak is going to take the ball. They decide that, and it's already decided. But obviously it's a set piece. He walks away from the ball. But if you watch PKR closely, his eyes are always on Ratanak all the time. So what you need really is from a player from Visakha is picking up on that. He's watching these three talking, all right? They've played a little full streak that Ratanak is walking away, but he's not actually walking away. He's very much involved in this set piece. So the first point here is Visakha have let the eye off the guard, and they've not noticed this. And it's a really good point when you need experience to notice things like this. So the first one, you can't actually see Ratanak now, but he's actually off screen to the right. PKR's lining up like he's going to take it with his left foot, and then we have Emmanuel lining up on his right foot. Now, these kind of free kicks, you have a few different options. One is you treat it like a free kick, which we have here. You have a wall, and then you have the corner flag too. Me personally, I wouldn't have two people in the wall here. Just because of the positioning, I don't think it really requires two, because it would be very hard to have a shot on target from there, which is probably why you would only need, a maximum two players in the wall or one. So we have two players in the wall. Then secondly, we have three Visakha players in the near post area. Now, having players in these near post areas, I think one player in that position there in the near post area is okay. But now I would question now the two players. So I think it looks like Paul wrote, we have two players in that near post area. Is what are they actually doing? One player can actually take that near post area. That would be one player's zone. And that would free up Paul Rock then to actually push out from the corner to where the referee is. And then number 10 then could then push on. Okay, so that would be the change that I would make to that setup there. The second one about this is the two players in the wall. Soon as this free kick is taken, and it's going to be a short free kick, the player in the right of the wall needs to break out and press the ball. You can go back and watch this on the highlights. It is a great strike, but there is no pressure on the ball from the set piece. So as the ball comes out, if Peng had pushed on a little bit, he might have been able to apply the pressure. He would have had to organize the middle. And then, like I say, the guy in the wall should have pressed out and press Ratanak. As it happens, referee blows a whistle. It's a set piece, it's deep, but then it is an amazing strike, and the ball goes back in the net. So if you look at the clock there, it's 49:27. If you think 10 seconds later, less than 10 seconds later, there is a ball in the back of the net. And it's a great strike, but on a set piece from that distance, I really felt they could have dealt with it a lot better. And as you start to look at football and you start to get into higher level football, professional football, which is like what we're looking at, set pieces account for, I think, 30 to 40% of goals. So games can be really won and lost on set pieces. not just attacking, but how you defend them as well. And I think Visakha in this instance, because of the distance that Ratanaga scored from, and the fact that he's had a free shot, I think they could have really dealt with this free kick a lot better. And obviously, great time to score, start of the first half. Now, just as I highlighted Lee Jae-gun in the first half of Visakha with no players beyond them, this is one thing that Svay Rieng did really well. Got the ball, and it's actually Haber that's dropped deep, but look how high Emmanuel is in front of him. Those are the types of situations that Visakha could have created, but they didn't have nobody operating high enough off the pitch to really do that. And Haber had a really good game. Didn't score, but his hold-up play, his build-up play was really good for Svay Rieng. And then Visakha did come on to get a goal back, but it was just a little too much too late. And one of the things that Svay Rieng showed, which they've showed throughout the season, is a lot of experience. And once they're in the lead, they know how to manage the lead. They could bring on players like Mizuno, just to really have that intelligence. The goalkeeper, I think it's Udon, he was a bit like Pickford, just sitting on the ball. So Svay Rieng really did have some experience to see the win out. Last couple of minutes, like we have here, taking the ball to the corner. And it was really a really good win away from home. Now, yeah, okay, so sorry, just lost a little bit there. So yeah, for Svay Rieng, it really was a good win away from home. And Visakha, I don't think they had a terrible match. Don't think there's any really major concerns, but obviously everybody in the league knows the budget they have. They know the players they have. I would have really liked to seen a bit more of a penetrating attacking performance. Question would be is, what is the next step for Visakha? Obviously, lots of stuff around there. They do have players to come back from an injury, which are going to strengthen the forward areas. For me, though, and one thing that I really want to highlight is I don't think it should always necessarily be about the players or the coach. I think one thing that should be a priority for Visakha now is to really work on building that spirit. We've seen in the league, especially Angkor Tiger and Svay Rieng playing at home, the real big difference that the fans can make. And one point that I want to highlight is I really think Visakha can do more now to boost the attendance at the matches, to really bring some spirit to a fantastic stadium that they have. I know watching it, and I wasn't at the game, I know there are fans on the side where the cameras are, but I think for viewers as well that are watching the game, I would really work on putting the Visakha supporters behind this goal here that we're looking at and getting that really full of the Visakha ultras. And, you know, one of the things that we do in football, Liverpool are renowned for it, the Kop, Manchester United, the Stretford end. I think they should get all the fans behind the goal and really put an emphasis on the, especially like the first half, that they want to bring the players closer to the fans and really get a little more momentum. We've seen how it can work for Angkor Tiger. Really good fans connected to the club. And when they have had close matches this season, it's been the fans that have lifted them. And when we went into the last 10 minutes of this match, Visakha really didn't have any real spirit that really could, you felt that they had the passion and the desire to kick on and really challenge Svay Rieng. So behind the goal, I'd like to see the fans there. I think it would make a better atmosphere, look better on the cameras, and I think it would give a team energy. That's what fans do. That's what they're there to do. Get the fans closer to the pitch, get them closer to the players, and get the buzz in Cambodian Premier League. And this is just another one half-time. Really need to work on getting the fans in. I can deal with that there, but I think get the fans behind the goal, get the Visakha players connected to the fans, and I think that will bring a lot more energy. And lastly, man of the match, Ratanak. I think I say it right. If I don't, just let me know. What a brilliant game. Now, actually, if I go right back to, there's actually the other PKR Svay Rieng centre midfielder, Savan, number 20 or 29 or 49, don't quote me on that. He had a really good game too, and he would actually be my man of the match. But obviously, Ratanak has hit this worldie of a goal. What a brilliant goal it was. And to just talk about him a little bit, what he does well, he has brilliant technical ability on the ball. So when he has it, 2 or 3 players around him, he's not fazed by that. He has the skills to get him out of those tricky situations. His pass completion, he actually didn't make that many passes because he's not kind of a centre midfielder just passing side to side. He's actually getting on the ball and really trying to make things happen. So he had a really good game, and lots more to come from him. Okay, so that was the breakdown from that match. Hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, focused on Visakha a little bit more, looking at why they lost this match. But don't think it was a terrible defeat, but I do think they just really look a bit of a disjointed team, lack a little bit of a playing style. And it was a really confident win from Svay Rieng, showed their experience, showed a good blend of youth and experience working together. And for them, there is no better win than away from home, where you go away from home and you win by 1 goal. So they continue their run, and now we're looking at the Cambodian League Cup that's going to start. So hopefully that'll throw out some different dynamics for teams, and we'll look forward to that competition, and we have the national team playing as well. So thank you everybody for listening. That was Kingdom of Football match review, match week 7. I am actually going to come on and do the Bunket Phnom Penh Crown game as well. So I might do that in an hour or so and give you a breakdown on that one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for following Kingdom of Football. Hope you learned something from the video, a little about football. Anybody has any questions, want us to break any fixtures down, comments, just let us know. Kingdom of Football is the #1 football fan channel in Cambodia. We like to bring you insight, which is like what I've done now, some tactics analysis. We like to bring some entertainment, so there's some trolling, as we call it in my country, banter on the page. And then we want to get opinions as well. One of the things that we are planning to do is we want to hear from you guys, the fans. If you have any opinions on the games, just drop our admin a message on the page, and we're actually going to do some video fan chat with the fans as well. All right, so that's it for today, and I'll be back on and do the Bunket one as well against Phnom Penh Crown. Okay, cheers guys, bye-bye.